infectious, comes so naturally. It's like I'm lost inside your ecstasy, wondering if we could be in heaven. We make our reality. I've never known a life like this, a stranger's kiss, the sweet attraction. I've never known a love like this, forbidden bliss, consumed in action. I've never known a life like this, a stranger's kiss, the sweet attraction. I've never known a love like this, forbidden bliss. I'm yours, me home. Take me home. Take me home. Hold me in your heaven. I won't forget the thrill of it all. Take me home. Take me home. Reckless, more than I've been free. Defenseless, with your eyes on me. It's like I'm caught inside your endless sea, falling fast into the deep. Surrender, won't be sound asleep. Yeah. I've never known a life like this, a stranger's kiss, the sweet attraction. I've never known a love like this, forbidden bliss, consumed in action. I've never known a life like this, a stranger's kiss, the sweet attraction. I've never known a love like this, forbidden bliss. I'm yours. Take me home. Take me home. Take me home. Hold me in your heaven. I won't forget the thrill of it all. Take me home. Breathless, rising to the beat. Infectious, comes so naturally. It's like I'm lost inside your ecstasy, wondering if we could be in heaven. We make our reality. I've never known a life like this, a stranger's kiss, the sweet attraction. I've never known a love like this, forbidden bliss, consumed in action. I've never known a life like this, a stranger's kiss, the sweet attraction. I've never known a love like this, forbidden bliss. I'm yours, me home.
Check, check, check. Yeah, things are working. Hi everyone, how's it going? It is Claire. Nice to see all of you again. Very excited for today's stream, and to be honest, the rest of the streams for season 2. I think we'll probably end up doing a lot more chat about, say, Live 11 and stuff like that. But greetings. Hi, everyone. And hope you're all having a great start to the week. I'm having a good start so far. It's been crazy. I had a good rest this weekend because last week was very insane. And I don't work for Ableton, the company, but at this point, hi, most of y'all know that I'm Claire, and I'm an Ableton Certified Trainer, and I'm also an instructor at 343 Labs. Yeah, so welcome everyone to today's show. This is the Monday show, Tips and Tricks, that I host, where we talk about things related to Ableton Live and sometimes also Push. But today we're talking about something that was announced last week, Live 11. And Live is the flagship program. I guess it's flagship, I guess. It is the program that's made by Ableton, the company, and it is one of my favorite programs out there amongst a couple of others. But the Live 11 release happened last week, or it just got announced one day before 11/11, so maybe they were purposely trying to offset it or something. But anyway, very excited about this. Last week was crazy for me. I think I presented how many times? Must have been at least 4 times over the course of a short number of days about the new features in Live 11, which was very fun, but also very tiring. So I had a bit of a rest this weekend, although I did host an Ableton Live workshop with 343 Labs yesterday. And that's because 343 Labs is a school that is based in New York, and Berlin, but we also do a lot of online programming. So I saw a couple of folks, I think, in the chat who also mentioned that as well. So hi to everyone who's here. Let's take a moment to pop over into the chat at youtube.com/343labs. Hey, Andrew, John, hey, TWD, greetings. I'll get to some of the specific messages later. Just want to make sure I'm saying hi to everyone. Ari, Todd, Dave. Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And yeah, Ari, thanks for your kind enjoyment of the song too. I made this tune, which is called Take Me Home, or the one that was in the intro. I made it with my friends Digital Tech and Resurgence, who are amazing producers as well. And yeah, it was very fun to work with them. And we might be working on something new, so keep your eyes peeled for that as well. And Carl, hi. Jayon Baby, hello as well. Yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Let me just check out some of the initial chat stuff that we had. TWD, I'm so cranky with myself. I set my reminder for the Ableton meetup for 10:30, so I tune in after everyone logs. That's okay. I mean, these things are archived on the 343 Labs YouTube channel anyway. So everyone, if you haven't subscribed to 343 Labs yet, please do. You can be updated for whenever we go live or whenever we have new videos out, stuff like that. Our new streams that we do every day at 1 p.m. Well, not new streams, but I guess they are new streams if every stream is new. I mean, every stream is live, right? So now I'm talking about the liveness of things, which it all is. And let's see. TWD, I was going to ask the thing that Google search has failed me on thus far. Would buying Push 2 from the Ableton store grant the Live 11 upgrade? You're already a Suite 10 owner. I would recommend reaching out to Ableton support. I think something that a lot of folks forget sometimes, or myself included, is that even though some people work very closely with Ableton, I'm not actually working for Ableton, so I wouldn't know this kind of information. But I do know that they are very kind, and a lot of the time they consider things on a case-by-case basis. So I would encourage reaching out. I do think it's also quite contingent on when you made the initial purchase of Live 10 Suite. For example, one of my students who recently started learning with me, they just bought 10 Suite a week before. So they managed to reach out, and I think they're working something out with the Ableton support team right now. So there's that as well. Ari, I wonder if there are any benefits in Live 11 for people who don't use Ableton for live performance and don't work for vocals. Yeah, absolutely. I think a couple of the new features in Live 11 are very much geared towards live performance, like you mentioned. But there definitely are a few parts that just workflow-wise I love a lot about. For effects especially. Something that we forget about sometimes too is that for a number of the effects in Live, even though they are native, they are quite CPU heavy, so I might not even use them for a performance setting, but I would definitely use them for a production setting, including the instrument that I already have pulled up over here, Wavetable, which I kind of played a little bit just now for everyone. And that's because one of my favorite parts about Live 11, which you are seeing now, I have Live 11 pulled up with Push 2 over here, is that Wavetable is now an MPE instrument, and MPE the letters M, P, and E stand for MIDI polyphonic expression. Some people also call it multi-dimensional polyphonic expression, just because you can do a lot of multi MIDI note things. But yeah, MIDI polyphonic expression, and Wavetable is one of the instruments that got updated with some MPE capabilities. So I'll probably demo that a little bit later as well. In the meantime, what I want to also open up to the floor is that I think on Tuesday, last Tuesday, the amazing TAETRO and I did kind of like a crossover show. So TAETRO, who is our creative director at 343 Labs, he usually does the Tuesday show, TAETRO Talks, and that was the day that Live 11 got released. So we both woke up and we're like, oh, okay, we were supposed to do a show anyway, and we were supposed to talk about live performance. So we ended up just like changing trajectories and going for Live 11 instead. But yeah, last week at our show, there were a lot of people with questions who I don't think we managed to answer most of them, but if anyone does have any last minute questions or maybe certain features that you'd like me to cover in today's stream, we can absolutely do that. In the meantime, I have a question to issue to everyone, and that's if you have already seen the intro to Live 11 videos by Ableton on their YouTube channel. Let me know what your favorite feature is. Maybe we'll see if we have any common favorites amongst our 343 Labs community. But in the meantime, I'm just going to go for it and kind of demo one of my favorite parts, which is the MPE stuff, like super expressive things that come about. I'm a big fan of MPE, and for a long time, that was the reason why I loved Bitwig so much more for MIDI stuff. So as some of you know as well, I'm also a Bitwig certified trainer, and I love working with Bitwig. I love using my Stencil Morph, which is this over here, with Bitwig. And that's because Bitwig had, for a while now, already had MPE functionality, so you'd be able to do some very expressive performance-based stuff with this. I'm also presenting at Insta this weekend on behalf of Bitwig. So if you want to head over there, you can head over to the Insta website. It's like a software festival that's hosted online. Very excited about that. But over here, we've got Live. To demonstrate this, I think probably the easiest way would be to take a look at Wavetable and let's inspect what looks different about it. So probably the biggest thing that's different about Wavetable is this new tab inside the instrument that is called MPE. So it's this one over here. Initially in Wavetable in Live 10, because Wavetable came on in Live 10. Oh, that was like so long ago. Amazing. You've got mod sources, you've got matrix, you've got MIDI. MPE is a new tab, and what this lets us do is assign some of these note expression parameters. So things like velocity, note PB, which is not peanut butter, I wish it were, but it's pitch bend, slide, and pressure, to different parts of the synth that you can control from your controller, regardless of whether it's push or the morph or something else. Push does have MPE functionality, although I will say that it is a little bit limited because it obviously doesn't have the same interface as, say, something like the morph has, which comes with like overlays and that sort of thing. I could even do a full episode on this. And it's also made by Stencil, who we love very much. Yay, Stencil! I don't know if Mr. Stencil would be in the chat today, but yay! So Push is obviously different from this because first of all, it's laid out in a grid. You can't really change its overlays. For this Stencil Morph, you can do that. You can like take things off and replace them with other shapes. And because of that, you don't really get things like slide. Like I can't really slide on a push note unless I'm using the touch strip, but that's a totally different thing. So it's going to work a little bit differently. It is slightly limited, but to start off with, I think the easiest way to demo this will be through the use of pressure. So what MPE is going to let me do is it's going to let me play a chord. So I think right now I have like C major pulled up. If I played like a C major chord, it would let me change each of these notes independently. So let's go ahead and try doing a little bit of stuff. I'm going to head over into the matrix here, the MPE matrix. And in the matrix, what I can do is assign certain parameters in Wavetable to be controlled by Push. that was good. I hit the mark. So I'm going to assign my oscillator 1 position, which is this over here. It switches between the different oscillator shapes to pressure. And I think I might also go with a different Wavetable shape. So the current Wavetable that I have sounds like this. It starts off with a sine wave, starts getting brighter all the way until a square. wave, so changing the harmonic structure. Maybe let's use a different wavetable to start with. Quad saw, sure, why not? Oh, let me also, I accidentally moved my screen. Oops, the groove pool. Sorry, groove pool. Yeah, that's really neat. Cool. So we'll start there. And I would like my wavetable position to shift the more pressure I apply to push. So I'm gonna head over here to the matrix, and I'm just gonna click and drag upwards until, let's do like 72, sure. So now, I'm pressing pretty lightly on push, but I'm going to start increasing my pressure and take a look at what's happening in wavetable. So scrolling through the wavetable because of pressure. Nice. So now if I have a chord playing, let's say I'm playing like let's do a C major chord. I can change the wavetable position independently for each of my 3 notes. So you get some interesting kind of transformative textures. Before MPE stuff, if I played this one chord, and if I change pressure, if I change pressure on any one of them, all of their wavetable positions would change at the same time. So because all of their pressure values would be changing at the same time. But with MPE, it's all independent. Yeah. Let's do one more thing. I'd also like to assign it to maybe some filter stuff. That's also a really great audible thing to do. So let's start off with a low filter frequency, maybe increase the resonance by a teeny tiny bit. And let's also assign that to pressure. So now we'll start off pretty muted, yeah, nice. Let's also maybe just increase that a little more. Yeah, cool. So that's MPE stuff. And if we wanted to, we could also see what this looks like visually. So let's go ahead and do some, just a preliminary sort of loop over here. I've got push going. There is my metronome. Let me just make sure I'm in a scene that's the first scene. So here we go. Just gonna hold this chord for a little bit. Maybe add a couple more iterations of the notes. Great. Beautiful. Let's quantize that. Great. And I'll turn off the metronome, bring down the volume from push, and let's take a look at exactly what's going on over here. So this is something new in Live 11 too. You'll notice that at the bottom, we've got detail view pulled up, which has the entire, it has clip view, MIDI note editor, all those usual shenanigans. But the layout of this is different. So it looks as if now we no longer have the launch boxes at the side or the envelope box. Instead, it's all tabs. So we've got this first tab over here that shows us the notes, and then we've got this second one that shows us the envelopes, and then third one shows us note expressions. So check this out. We can see that I've got all of my pressure stuff going on over here. So I increased more pressure here. That corresponded to the brightness changing of wavetable as well as the filter cutoff. And I can go in here and also change these around. I'm clicking on this right now and I'm just dragging up and down. It works very similarly to automation. So that's something that I love also about the editing. And maybe I'll take this opportunity to also say that the MPE part is very dear to me. And I'm not sure if the other CTs know this. I haven't really told them, but I actually got involved in the Live 11 project quite a long time ago. And I was working with some alpha versions of this, and it's so incredible to see all of the work that the Ableton team has put into this over time. This is very different from the initial implementation of this, but had so much fun testing out, working with the team, troubleshooting stuff, doing alpha testing crazy on this. And now we have a really wonderful MIDI MPE editor. Or not MIDI MP, just MP, because MIDI is already the M. But yeah, this was so fun to see kind of blossom in a very at the risk of romanticizing things. But yeah, I thought it was really fun to go through this entire process. You can also use this with third-party synths too that have MPE. So Serum is a really good example of this. I often had to use Serum in, say, different DAWs, like even GarageBand had MPE before Ableton Live. But it works really great. Used my Release keyboard that's over there, and the Morph as well. Very happy about that. Yeah, so that's MPE data. You can also change different parameters like, pitch bend, things like that as well. These are also MPE parameters that you can change. And let's say hi to the folks in the chat. It looks like a few people said comping was their new favorite things. Yeah, Max! Hi, it is Max, our co-founder of 343 Labs, all the way from Berlin, also in Ableton CT. And yes, thank you also, Thomas, for the very kind reminder. So this week's streams, everyone. This week's streams, yes, because there are multiple streams going on. We have a giveaway for a 4-month subscription of Splice. So thank you to our Splice friends. They've always been really great supporters of us, so we really appreciate their support and their offering of this subscription. So if you want to be entered for the giveaway, please make sure that you are entering the giveaway by heading over into the link. Thomas just put that in the chat. I think, yeah, it's over there. So please click on the link and enter. Head over there. And hey, adding Matting Onion, hello, yeah, you just got Serum, so this may be helpful stuff. Yeah, and I also speak, I've spoken about Serum very highly in other streams as well, but I just love Serum because of how it's made. The philosophy behind it's really great too. Steve is such a cool person. Steve Duda, who created Serum, very, very cool guy. Hi to everyone else. I'm assuming DT is dolltr, although I'm not dolltr here. Kenneth Burton, I'm Claire here, so it's nice to see everyone. But yeah, maybe I don't know. I guess I should probably speak about that regularly, maybe. This is Claire, and not dolltr at the moment. No breeds, easiest way to tell. But yeah, let's head over here back into Wavetable. So that's one of my favorite parts about Wavetable. Let's do something else interesting that pertains to maybe some settings that might answer a little bit of Ari's question just now. So one thing that I love a lot about this version of Live, this newer version, is that even if some of the things that are new features are framed towards live performance, I think they don't always have to be used for live performance. One thing I love about it was snapshots. So let's expand on this a little bit more. I've got Wavetable over here, and before I even do snapshots, let's talk about some of the new audio effects in Live 11. So I'm going to head over here to the audio effects category. One thing that I love, and I've heard mixed feelings about this, but I do love how the audio effects are categorized differently. So the previously in Live 10, they would all kind of be in one giant chunk. And at least as an educator, I do like how now it's organized in a way, because I can tell my students hey, check out the EQ and filters category and you'll find all the EQs there. Or check out the time and space category and you'll find stuff like hybrid reverb. So let's take a look at hybrid reverb, everyone. This is a new one in Live 11. If it looks familiar to you, that's great. It might be because it does look a little bit similar to the user interface of Convolution Reverb, which was a Max for Live reverb device in Live 11, and it's Live 10. It's still in Live 11, but it was used a lot before this. This is a mix of convolution and algorithmic reverb, so it combines the two. And yeah, let's go ahead and maybe take a listen. I might record another clip though in this just to get a little bit of variation, maybe something a little bit more interesting. So yeah, let's just record a little short riff. Won't have to do too much. And overshot, that's all right. Let's just crop the clip. Let's also bring this up. Yeah, and that sounds so pretty already. I'm also gonna go ahead and I think let's duplicate this loop. I'm also gonna shift that note to a G so that it's more. Okay, let's duplicate the loop. And let's also do a little bit of editing so we can talk some more about other features. Very cool. And you know what? I think we might even need some kind of drum kit. I think that might be nice. Let's go ahead and just grab the usual suspects. Or actually, no, let's look in packs. And I think I was thinking of Punch and Tilt. While I'm looking for that, I'll also say hi to anyone who just joined in. I saw the numbers bump up a little bit. So if you want to let us know what your favorite feature in Live 11 has been so far, please leave that in the chat. And we'll have a chat about what people's favorite features are. But in the meantime, let's put this here. And okay, let's recolor this as well, because I usually think of drums as being red or some other variation of that. So let's go ahead and put in, ooh, that is a loud kick drum. Nice. Let's just do a 4 on the floor. There we go. Nice. So at least we have some rhythmic variation. Great. So I've got this over here. Let's solo wavetable and let's take a listen to what hybrid reverb is actually doing. So we'll head over here into wavetable, and I'm going to change the dry wet knob, and you'll hear that it does sound very different from the default reverb preset, which is what I love as well. It already sounds good. So here's dry, just the sound. Ooh. Nice. Cool. So what is happening over here is that we are getting some kind of simulation of a space that's not currently the room that I'm in, obviously. But we're able to play with different kinds of spaces thanks to a couple of impulse responses that have been loaded up into the reverb device over here. So if you haven't played with a convolution reverb before, that's totally fine. Let's take things one step back. I'll simplify things. All that a reverb is doing, not even a convolution reverb, all a reverb is doing is making it seem as if you're in a different environment. So in this case, what I can do with hybrid reverb is choose a space that I want to emulate. For example, right now we are emulating the Ableton Studio. Maybe that's the space in Berlin, or maybe that's just a fancy name that they came up with. But we can listen to the way it would sound if we were in different spaces by clicking on these two buttons and kind of changing the impulse response, changing the room or space that we're simulating. So let's go ahead and scroll through, and we'll take a listen as we scroll through. So here's the original, which is already very beautiful. I like it a lot. I can also EQ it a little bit, so let's do that too. Take away some of the bottom end of the reverb. Let's switch. Let me also bump up the dry wet so it's easier to hear. So now we're in a different room. A different one as well. Another different one. Let's look through some... Ooh, hall. Chambers and large rooms. Yes. Vocal chamber. Classic room. Yeah! Let's do, textures. I haven't actually tried this one out yet. Ooh, that's so nice. Paper. Very cool. I'm gonna keep this one. 3 seasons, LR. Bubbles! Oh, this is so pretty. Take a listen. That's so nice. Happy accidents. I'm gonna keep this. Yeah, we got some bubbles with the hybrid reverb. Very cool things. I'm seeing a couple of questions. Andrew, where would we find yesterday's worthy session? You did, does not show up. Yesterday's session was private, so it was a workshop that we did on our own that you had to register for. But you can always take a look at the other streams, though. As far as the public stuff that was going, the chat that TAETRO and I had, that's public. So you can see it on the 343 Labs YouTube channel. But yeah, the workshop yesterday was for signups. But John was there. John in the chat was there, which is very cool. Our hybrid reverb seems awesome. Yeah, it does seem very cool. I like it a lot. I think it was long overdue. I used to use convolution reverb a lot, or I would have some very specific presets that I would use on the original reverb for dolltr stuff, but they would also be using like the high options for processing and stuff, so it would still end up being kind of CPU heavy. But yeah, I like hybrid reverb. Very cool stuff. Kenneth took away the attack a bit. Yeah, I mean, that's generally what reverb does. So yeah. TWD, I saw the user in the dropdown. You can import your own IR. That is correct. You can absolutely do that. I think that's one of the greatest parts about convolution-y stuff too, because we could, find different things and drag them in. I'm curious. I haven't done this yet. Or I actually think I might have, but I forget. There's so many things going on. Let's find our own sample over here. What if we use like a chimes IR? Like, you know, a chimes finger down type of sound. I think that might be kind of cool. So yeah, let's see what happens if we click and boom, there we go. We can drop in our own IRs. This is a chimes IR. Let's take a listen. Yeah, you can hear the chimes very subtly. I'm going to bump this up a little. So you're convolving it with the chimes. Very cool stuff. Nice. Great. Let's undo that though, because I liked my bubbles. Let's keep them there. Let's take a look at one of the other things I wanted to show, which was the snapshot stuff. So what exactly are snapshots? Well, let's put this into a rack first. Not going to go super in depth because I've talked about this in other streams too. So I just clicked on the two devices, group them together. Let's open up the macros. Let's go ahead and reopen wavetable. I think I want, let's control resonance with macro 1. We've also gone through this in previous streams too. I'm also going to turn on oscillator 2. I think I want the oscillator 2 position. I want that to be macro 2, so oscillator 2 position. And let's also switch this to maybe something else like saw harmonics. Why not? So great, we've got 2 macros so far. Let's do some stuff on the hybrid reverb. Let's do a dry wet one. Let's map that to macro 3. And let's do also what should we do? Oh, let's do the EQ, the low pass filter over here. So map this to macro 4. Great. Now there's a couple of macro updates. I think I'll talk about those because I also do quite like those. You notice how now I've only got 4 macros. So maybe I don't need to see any other macros at all. Let's press on this tiny little minus icon and take the extra macros away. So now I have my 4 macros. Those are all I need, and they are much easier to view. I can also see them here on push. Well, that's not necessarily important. I want to show you what we got in live. So we got the 4 macros. We can take them away, and we can also add up to 16 macros, all 16 macros. But I'm going to just have my 4 because I don't need that. But yeah, we've got these. We can also add snapshots. So what this means is that depending on the type of sound that I have or the type of way that I've managed my macros, changed some of their parameters, I'll be able to save that as a snapshot, which is this little camera icon over here. And let's say I like this current position, or let's find a position that I do like. Cool. Let's also just tweak the original wavetable frequency a little. There we go. You know what? Let's also map that to... No, let's not. Let's keep that the same. Great. So I'm tweaking all of these parts. I like the current setting of this. So I'm going to save this as a new snapshot. So now that we've got 1 snapshot here. Let's keep tweaking, and I want to find another color that I like. Maybe less resonant. Maybe this. Dry, and let's do... this one over here. Great. So now let's grab this as... oh, actually, no, let's do this like super wet. Great. Cool. So now with macro variations, I'm able to, I'm also going to decrease the volume of that. I'm able to kind of switch through these different parameters by launching each of the variations. So if I click on this button over here, here's our first one. And here's the second one. Now I like this a lot because not even from like a live performance standpoint, but just a production standpoint, I love tweaking things, and it's oftentimes been a downfall of mine because I'll tweak something and then I'll start getting something good, and then I'll switch back to another instrument and start tweaking that, and halfway through doing all of these things, sometimes I might accidentally move a knob, or I might prefer something that I used to have and I just lose a preset and I have to like spend time finding it again. But now with the snapshots, there we go. I can also rename them. So maybe the first one that I'll call is bright, because that's what I kind of remember in my head. And the second one, let's call reverby. So now I can switch between bright and reverby as I go along, and I can be like, okay, which one of these do I prefer? Bright's kind of cool. Reverby is definitely, you get more of that convolution sound. So yeah, you can switch between these different things. One of my favorite parts about the macro snapshot stuff. Let's head back over into bright though, because I kind of liked it. So great. Now, one other thing that I liked a lot of with the new Live 11 update is the idea of using different kinds of probability and different types of, working with notes and stuff like that. Although I'm not sure if anyone is into that. If you are into that, let me know. But I love being able to, work with different kinds of probabilities and figure out how I can make things a little bit more exciting. If we listen to this over here, I've got a pretty nice kind of sequence going on. It's pretty rhythmic. What if I want to add more variation? I can do that with probability. And there's two different kinds of probability in Live 11. One of them is note probability or note chance. I do believe they call it chance specifically. There's note chance, and then there's velocity chance. So what note chance is, let's start there. What note chance means is you're kind of controlling the likelihood of a note playing. So at the moment, I've got all of these notes set to 100% probability. That means that 100% of the time, they will play. So they will always play. But what if I grab all of these and I make all of their probability, let's do like 50%. That means that there is now a 50-50 chance that they will play or they will not play. So let's take a listen. Ooh, we're losing a couple of things. And the second time around it plays, the sequence of notes is also different too. Just because it's always a 50-50 chance, right? You might get a note, you might not. But what if I always want certain notes to play? Maybe the first note of every bar should always play. Or the first note of the first and the third bar. So always 100% for the first note. That way we get a little bit of pulse, so that's pretty neat too. Great. And the cool part about this is that you can start getting very creative MIDI stuff. So let's go ahead and create a new MIDI track. Now I can select MIDI from my wavetable, or my instrument rack rather. And if I set this to armed, I can start recording in the different kinds of MIDI sequences and maybe use them for another thing. So let's start recording the MIDI in. These are my random MIDI notes that are happening. Great, so now I can use them in tandem. Maybe let's have another instrument. Let's do like a... Ooh, let's do electric, then I can show you the new interface for that as well. Yeah, let's get more variations. I do this I used to do this very often for my live performances under my other project, which is Cable Wrapper, which is more like modular techno stuff, so, okay. Great! So now we have 3 different versions of MIDI notes that are all based off the original that I had. Yeah, cool stuff. So you can do some interesting production-y things with a lot of the note chants and stuff like that. Let's see. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for tuning in. See ya. Kenneth, so snapshot feature can recall these macros. Yep, that's correct. So now you can keep your happy accident. Totally. Hi, Jonathan. Nice to see you too. Enigmatic Onion, using chance of beat repeat. Yeah, very, very cool stuff. You can absolutely get more variation there as well. Hi, QWERTY boy for now. Can the change the octave maybe? Yeah, sure. You can absolutely do that if you wanted to. I'm going to keep mine as it is. I kind of like it. But let's take a moment to now maybe do a little bit of vocal stuff so that I can show you some spectral resonator things. So we've got all of these. Let's do a little bit of recording into the arrangement so that we can start getting some linear stuff going on. Let me also just make sure I've got everything set up. Okay, cool. Let's stop all the clips. And I'm going to, oh, actually, no, I'll do one more thing before. the one more thing that I'm going to do before I start this is for these 3 electric clips, I'd like to have them kind of alternate between one another. So let's set up some follow actions. Follow actions in Live 11 have also been updated. So let's do follow actions. If you're not familiar with follow actions, I did a presentation about them at one of the previous Ableton user groups that we have on the 343 Labs YouTube channel as well. So you can also tune in and check that out. But essentially all follow actions do is they kind of let you control different they kind of let you give instructions to clips in Ableton Live in session view and say, hey, play this in a certain order or something like that. So I'm going to have a follow action play. Let's do any so we get a little bit of randomness. And yeah, let's set that to 100%. And let's set the follow action to happen after each bar might be kind of cool. Let's do any or, yeah, let's do that. So here we go. Let's also set this up here. So now after every 4 bars, it'll play something else. And actually, let's not do any. Let's do other, because then it'll play anything other than itself. So let's do other. So now it's going to play that 3rd clip. Now it's going to play the 2nd clip, so on and so forth. Great. So here we are. Let's stop all of these clips and let's record into session view. Boom. And let me also just turn on the metronome for that. Cool. Recording into session view. Let's start with our crazy electric stuff. Cool. Texture-y stuff. So we got a couple things in the arrangement view. Great. Cool. And we'll have some drums to take us out. And stop. Great. So let's head back here into the arrangement view now. I can see that I got some kind of linear section. And I think I'll start looping this part over here where I recorded a lot of the most of the parts happening at the same time. So pressing Command L or Control L to loop that section in arrangement view. And let's do some vocal stuff, because one thing that I think a lot of people mentioned in the chat was comping. Yay! What exactly is comping? Comping is the idea of making different takes of, say, a piece of audio, or you can even do MIDI as well, and being able to choose the best parts of each of those takes. So it's really good for anything that's also performance stuff, but even recording as well. I would say that comping really is more of a recording type of thing. You can't really do live comping, I guess, unless you're doing a live stream about production. But other than that, let's create a new audio track and let us set this up. So I've got some audio here. I'm going to just throw on my vocal rack. I have like a funny little vocal rack that I developed at some point. Let's find it. Yeah, okay, cool. I think it's here. Vocal recording. Might have some interesting things. Let's arm this and let's find out. Check. Yes. So here's the vocal stuff. Maybe we'll record some things in. I'll leave that on so that you can hear a bit clearly. Let's also just drop that level down, and great. So I'm going to listen to this, maybe come up with some kind of melody. Let's see. Cool. So I'm thinking let's start recording, and what I'm going to do now is I am purposely going to leave this loop up. I'm also going to set up the punch in so that I only start recording in at the loop, but I'm giving myself maybe like 2 bars ahead, and then I'll start recording some stuff. So here we go. Let's record. Oops, I totally missed that. So I'm going to do that one more time. And here we go. Let's start shorter, because I realized that I made like an 8-bar loop instead. Let's do like 2 bars. No, 4 bars. Here we go. That was on purpose, but just to illustrate this. Cool. So I just stopped. Now in Live 11, let's unarm that so that you won't hear me again. I can right click on any track that I've recorded into in loops in the arrangement and say show take lanes. So now I can see all of the takes that I recorded, including that first one that I had to redo. So very cool stuff. I can then kind of, choose the best parts of the take and have them pop up here. I can also recolor each of these. So I think I will go for that. Let's make this one blue. Maybe this one will make, let's do green for this. Maybe this one we can make it yellow. And let's do orange for this one. So now if I head over into draw mode, which is this little pencil icon over here, that's going to let me select all of these different parts. And I can promote them to the top take over there. And yeah. So now I can see all of the combination of the different parts that were going on, including my speech at the end. Maybe I don't want that. Maybe I want another part. Let's do this instead. Let's take that one out. So this is a really great way also of experimenting with different kinds of chops. And let's take a listen to what I have so far. There will be clicks and pops, which is good so we can hear what's actually happening. But here we go. Yeah. Let's tidy stuff up though. Let's select everything and let's crossfade. So Command Option F. Now it's all faded. Yeah. Let's not show take lanes. Add some more reverb and delay. Great. So that is comping. You're able to kind of chop and change and combine different elements as well. And we've got that set up pretty nicely. So at this stage, also hi to everyone who just tuned in. I saw the numbers bump up a little bit. We're talking about some new features in Live 11, just a couple of them. I don't think I could go through all of them in 1 hour, but these are some of my favorites. Now over here, let's also take the last part of my stream today to play with Spectral Time and Spectral Resonator, which are some of my favorite audio effects in the new release also. There are a few things that have to do with Max for Live that haven't been officially released in the beta version yet, so maybe we'll do another stream on those. Pitch Loop 89 is out at this point, but let's do Spectral Resonator first. So I'm going to put this on my vocals. Y'all know how it sounded already, but let's go ahead and take a listen. Also, you probably aren't able to tell this, but the latency just like bumped up on my end. I could like tell it in my voice. So let's go ahead and take a listen to this and see what about it is different now. Let's also kind of bring the parameters in a little bit for what we're listening to so that we're just listening to this bit. Yeah! Resonator! Cool. So what Spectral Resonator is doing, and also Spectral Time, they are both, as their names imply, spectral devices. So that means that they are kind of analyzing the frequency spectrum and that they are able to parse out different kinds of information about the frequency spectrum and then use it to change the timbre of something that you're putting it on. So in this case, we have Spectral Resonator that is, instead of, making my voice sound like the normal thing with all of the effects and reverb and stuff. This is the original. But now, if I move this dry wet knob up on Spectral Resonator, we can hear I've got something resonating over here. And you can change this based on the resonator frequency. So got all of that. Could also use a specific note. So I think the key that we were in was C, right? So let's make this resonate with maybe C4. So that's the resonating note. You can also change the color a little bit by putting it into different modes like chorusing or wander or granular. Granular is pretty fun. I think it might also go with our bubbly theme, so that's pretty neat. You can hear that happening. Change the modulation rate a little bit, maybe do some damping as well to shape the sound a bit more. Yeah, so you can get all of that stuff. Now, for Spectral Resonator, we also have another option that lets us take in MIDI sidechain input. So this is actually kind of similar to Corpus, I believe. What this lets us do is choose another MIDI track in our live set to be the source of the information that we have for pitches. So what I'm going to do in this case is put this, instead of internal, let's put it into MIDI mode. And let's do MIDI from the instrument rack that I had, the wavetable and the hybrid reverb on. So check this out. Those are now the resonating pitches. So if I blend these together, we get even more textures. So it's pretty cool to change the color of a lot of the sounds that you're hearing. You can also put it into poly mode, so you'll get different combinations of stuff at the same time. Although it's not super pertinent this time because we were doing a monophonic type of loop. So let's put the back here. Yeah. And once you're in MIDI mode, you can also transpose by semitones and stuff. So let's do 12 semitones up. You get a little bit of a glittery sort of effect now. Maybe even 12 down. Let's see what happens if we do that. Yeah, now it's like lower. And it sounds, I quite like that a lot. Cool. Let's find like a middle-ish ground. Yeah, that's neat. I'm gonna temporarily turn this off, Spectral Resonator, and let's pull on Spectral Time. Another of my favorite effects, also increased latency. So like I mentioned at the beginning, just because it's native to Live doesn't always mean that it is also very low on latency too. Okay, now I definitely need to pop up the ear so I can hear myself. Yeah, but here we've got Spectral Time. Let's take a listen to what this is doing. Freeze. Cool. So you can change some pretty cool stuff, but let's also change the dry wet. Cool. So I froze that. Now you can hear it there. That's the note that we have. You can also change things like the spray and the tilt, dry wet of the shift as well, which is pretty cool. You can hear that still frozen. That's because I activated the freeze. So yeah, I like Spectral Time a lot as well. I think together Spectral Time and Spectral Resonator kind of help each other out a little bit. So usually when I've been doing these experiments, I found that putting Resonator after Time has been a little bit nicer. So let's give this a shot. Let's try both of these at the same time. Interesting textures, lots of latency. Oh, this is so weird for me. Okay, cool. Start getting all of these really cool textures with the comping stuff too. And Electric has an updated interface, which is also really cool. Let's put some delays on these. Yeah, cool. It's lots of really fun stuff. I might actually work on this. I kind of like it. It's like going all over the place. But yeah, those are, I think, off the top of my head. I'm also going to temporarily turn off the Spectral Resonator in Time. Might even have to take them away. But yeah, those are some of my personal favorite parts off the top of my head, just thinking about Live 11. There are lots of other things that we could potentially talk about, especially when we start getting into the Max for Live devices. And you know what? For now, this latency is killing me, so I'm going to delete Resonator and Time. Whew, okay, that's so much better. But yeah, maybe just super quickly, we can take a look at Pitch Loop 89. I know we have a couple more minutes, so let's go ahead and do that. So we're back to our original vocal. Nice. Let's grab the Pitch Loop 89 device from the Max for Live category. So this is a Max for Live effect. And let's look Pitch Loop. There we go. Okay. And this is also a bit heavy. So we'll see how bad the latency gets. Hopefully not too bad. Let's hit over here. Okay, check. Not so bad. Great. So here's some fun stuff. Can start doing interesting things with this. Yeah. Okay, fun stuff. Some cool like octave simulation-y things as well. Let's not do any random. Okay, cool. So Pitch Loop 89 was developed by Robert Henke, who's also one of the folks who's had a lot of involvement in live overall and its trajectory. It's such a cool device, and I want to explore it a little bit more too. I haven't had a lot of time to work on this just because I've been doing so many other Live 11 presentations, but this one was one thing that I was the most excited about. I think maybe just because I'm a huge fan of Max for Live devices, and I just love being able to manipulate things. You can even go inside, change things around a little too. The inspired by nature part is one thing that I want to also get into as well. Kind of any new Max for Live instruments that you like? Well, there's a bunch of new Max for Live devices that haven't come out in the beta yet. That's called Inspired by Nature. So those are I do believe those are more effects though, but they're pretty neat. I think that the built-in Max for Live instruments in Live 10 already were really good. So I often still use a bunch of those, like Poly and all of the presets for that. A couple of the other drum synth things are also really nice. And now in the instruments category, I do believe they show up there. Let's see. Yeah. Drum synth now shows up in the instruments category too, in Live. So that's in Live 11. So that's one of my favorite parts too, organizationally, I think. But yeah, definitely Pitch Loop 89, one of the Max for Live devices that I was more excited about compared to the previous versions of Live that had other Max for Live devices. So yay, Pitch Loop 89. And I can't wait for the Inspired by Nature one. There, if you've seen the Live 11 intro video, there is a shot of like one particular device that involves like some bouncing balls and chants and stuff like that. So very excited for that one. It's very cool. So yeah, and if you're curious about any of these things, everyone, there is a full list of the new details for Live 11 available online. Someone was asking me previously at a different stream or presentation about, hey, like how exactly do you know what's coming out in 11? And there is a website. So if you search for it, if you Google it, you won't be able to find it. I joke about the Googling stuff. No, I'm half joking about it. I do mean in all seriousness that if you Google stuff, you can usually find it. So yeah, that was really great. Thank you so much, Darwin, for tuning in. I know we're kind of closing in on the end of the stream, but I did want to remind everybody that this week we have a giveaway from our friends at Splice. So please remember to enter the giveaway. If you just joined in, because I saw the numbers bump up a little too, make sure that you scroll up all the way to around the beginning. I think that's when Thomas from 343 Labs put in a link in our chat over here on YouTube. So please check that out. You can figure out how many times you want to enter, by how many times you want to stay with us on our streams, because we stream every day at 1 p.m. for our daily shows at 343 TV. And if you've joined us for the first time, welcome. We're so happy to have you here. We hope you join us again in the future too. And yeah, next week we will probably spend a bit more time chatting about Live 11 if there are new parts that are out. Depends when the next version of the beta comes up. But I will also put it out there that if folks are interested in applying for the beta program, you can do that. So you can head over to the Ableton website, ableton.com. There is more information there as well. And if you have questions about the upgrades to that, there's also some information available online. And I'd also recommend reaching out to the Ableton support team. They're very nice. They don't bite. I have friends there. So you can reach out to them and you can ask them about upgrades and stuff like that. I do think that Another thing, I mean, just in general, that I was really happy with was the updated Push stuff, the firmware stuff, that you can start using Push as an MP device. It can actually already be very expressive, even without these sliding things that I mentioned that you can get on other controllers that have a continuous surface. But no, very, very happy and very excited for all of these things. So thank you so much to everyone for tuning in. Please make sure that you like and subscribe if you want to be updated for whenever we have a new video or a new stream out. And you can also turn on the notification bell to ping you and give you some reminders for that. But tomorrow we have TAETRO Talks as usual. We are streaming every other day of this week at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on the 343 Labs YouTube channel. It's great to see everyone as usual. Tomorrow we have a very special guest that TAETRO is having on TAETRO Talks. I'm very excited for the guest also. It's definitely gonna be a really great chat about performance and production and design, if that's a hint to anybody. So yeah, thank you again everyone for tuning in. Please remember to enter the giveaway. We want you to win. And I will see you again next week on Monday, same time, same place, for tips and tricks. And I hope everyone has a great week ahead. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.
Exactly where I am. I'd fit exactly where